Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't worry, we're going to help you find it. Welcome to Decorating Tips and Tricks. I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce. Finding your flair. Today, we're going to help you find it if you don't think you have it. And if you have it, we're going to help you hone it. Finding your flair is a really important part of becoming a decorator in your own right. Listen in, and we're going to give you tons of tips. So your flair is, sure, it incorporates your style, your look. It's your signature. It's what you add to a style or look that you're drawn to and how you make that style or look all your own. And so, you've heard the word iconic, which referred to certain people. It also can refer to certain styles. It can refer to certain interior designers, but each of us can be iconic in our own way and in our own home. So that is something that we have. It's a reoccurring theme in Decorating Tips and Tricks that we want you to develop that.
Wouldn't you rather have your own iconic style than be a copy of somebody else? I mean, that's what we're here to help you do, is to do something that is just specific to your personality, your style. And there's nothing wrong with copying another look, but I think even if you do that, you still want to have your own particular spin on it. And then you're going to just feel so excited about it, happy about it, and it's going to feel more like you.
Exactly. I mean, just like there is a saying that there's really nothing new under the sun. Well, I see the truth in that, but there are different ways to interpret everything, and that is new. So each incarnation of something is new. So that's what you can be and should be doing in your home. I remember as a blogger, when you first start out blogging or you first start doing anything, you're learning and you're looking, and you might be doing a little more copying than you do putting your signature style on it, but that all develops as you go along and you build confidence and knowledge and all of that. And I remember at some point in my blogging career, I got what I thought was one of the best compliments ever, is that a reader told me that she knew it was my photos, whether it had my name on it or my watermark, or if it was referenced in my blog, she could pick out my pictures, whether it be on Pinterest or someplace else on the web, and she knew it was mine. So I knew at that point, at least for that one person, I had developed an individual style that was recognizable. And that, to me, and not everybody's going to love it, and that's okay too, because it's individual. And, there's tons of different tastes and likes and looks out there that people are drawn to. But that was really important to me. And I know certainly that Anita has her own signature look, and it's very distinguishable from any other French country looks.
Right. And what we're talking about is, this putting your personality on it. I think somehow this gets misinterpreted sometimes. I think people interpret this as, well, let's see, I'm a musician, that's my hobby, so I need to put a musical instrument on the wall. Or I like to hike in the mountains, so I need to put a picture of a mountain on the wall. Something like that. And so I think people feel like it should be tied to their hobby and that they should be expressing their hobby in their decor. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine to do, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're really talking about finding your personality in a decorating way, finding things that appeal to you. And there may not be a rhyme or reason to why certain things you're just drawn to them, but there's going to be, the more time you spend focused on this, the more you're going to be drawn to certain things, and other things you may like them, but they don't feel like they're necessarily you. So, for example, there's a lot of styles and a lot of things that I think are beautiful, but they don't feel like me. But I know it when I see it now. If I see something and I know that's my look, that's me, then I'm really gravitating toward it, and I'm wanting to incorporate that into my house. So it's not really so much like, oh, I have a spot. I need something this size. I need something this color. I'm going to put it here. But it's going to be something where you're out somewhere and you see something and you think, that's it. That's it. I have to have that. That's what we want, is for you to be able to know what is your style, what is your look, and what isn't. And so then when you're looking at things, you'll be able to find things and incorporate them into your house. And I do feel like it's important to know your particular decorating style first and have a name for it. But even if you don't, I think if you're going to be drawn to particular things and you're going to have a particular, you may not even have a name for it, but once you buy it all, usually there's some rhyme or reason that maybe your brain you haven't figured out, but your brain knows. So a lot of times when people put things together that they love, it does look great together.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, there is also that saying, oh, if you love it, it all works together, and that sounds so sort of wishy and zen, but it kind of is true, because whereas two things might be very disparate but there'll be that third thing that you really love that kind of brings them together and bridges the gap. I think it really does work out. And the truth of the matter is if you love the things, then you're going to be happy around them and they're going to make sense to you, and it's your house. And you're the primary person that you should be pleasing in your home, not, somebody that you saw on Instagram or some picture you saw on Pinterest. So we're really encouraging you not to copy or to not to
but it's okay
just
I think
copy. Right.
Okay, to start there, right?
Right. So I'm just saying, but not to just copy and not just to emulate, but to then put your own spin on it. So do it enough, think about it. Just don't go out and get a cartload of stuff that you saw on some other blog or you saw in Country Living magazine or some other place. And then that's just what's all over your house.
Yeah, I
Work
think,
on it. Think of something that is, a one of a kind, or take something that you love, but put your own twist on it. Do it a different way. There's so many examples of repurposing things in these cool ways to add as decor into your home.
Yeah, I think, Kelly, it's to go along with what you're saying. I think when you're starting, if you really don't know what your style is, then I think it is helpful to kind of start by copying another look. But then as you're doing that, I think when you begin to find your decorating voice, that's when you can start changing things up. And sometimes when people are starting out, I don't think they have the confidence to really go with just their particular style. So I think it's nice to start copying in the beginning. And then you're going to use that as a jumping off spot and, kind of pulling things into that base style. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to start someplace. These are all hand-me-downs. My grandma gave me all these things. So you're copying your grandma, but you need to change that up right away. But, in a way that makes it your own. It doesn't matter if your grandma was, Bunny Williams, that's Bunny Williams look, that you need to make it yours.
Yeah. And I think if you start by copying something else, as you're doing that, you're going to say, okay, I like this. But there's going to be parts of it that you go, well, that part isn't me. Well, I'm not so excited about those colors or that color combination or whatever. And so I think it's going to happen naturally that you're going to make it your own. But I definitely would make that a conscious decision to kind of veer off in ways that make sense for you. And, one of the ways that I think you can start is to kind of think about maybe how you like to dress. That's sometimes a way to start, because often the style of how you like to dress translates into a decorating sense. So, for example, if you're just a very casual person and you really don't like dressing up at all, then you may like a very casual decorating style for your home. Or if there's a particular color that you love to wear, you're probably going to like that in your home also. I mean, there's just so many things I think that translate from your wardrobe into your home. So, I mean, take a look at that. Are you a person that really loves dressing up a lot and, you have, a real assortment of gorgeous high heels? Then, you may want a more formal look.
Yeah, I definitely dress in the colors of my house. Black and white is my go-to. My dogs people have commented that my dogs, like I didn't purposely match my dogs to my house, but they do match my house. But so that is kind of funny. Yeah. You should look at the other aspects of your life. Don't keep everything in a box. Like, oh, that's how I decorate. Well, that's how I dress.
But you don't, right. And you don't have to follow that. But if you're stuck, that's a place that you can start.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's just face it, everybody. This is the hardest part of decorating.
Mm-hmm. I would say that's
right.
True.
Being, and this is why people hire decorators. But really a decorator, unless it's a person who takes a very personalized approach, which I try to do. And I know Anita tries to do when she's working with her clients. If it's a decorator who's decorating for the sake of decorating, then your house is going to look like the decorator, not you. Right. So it's really hard. And it is something that you have to, or if you're working with the decorator, and even if they did do all the background and get all that information from you, and they know you, and they get you, and they get your family and all that stuff, still they might bring something to the table that really doesn't feel right for you. And you should be able, you need to have the confidence to say no to that too, because they'll go away to the next job and you'll be left with it. So it's a very hard aspect of decorating that we're talking about today. It's really fun. And it's kind of one of those things, like when you get it right, it feels so good. So once you get it, then when you're shopping around, whether it be online or flea markets or things like that, you'll just know like that is me. This is calling to me. And I have the confidence to say, yes, I can make this work.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention with this is don't worry about failing. You probably will. It's part of the process. Don't worry about it. It's okay if your style changes. I know I had my Tuscan phase. I had a Moroccan phase. I
wish I knew you then.
Oh, yes. Well, it was,
I'm feeling like some mint tea right now.
Oh, yes. I love my tea. And then, I had the Moroccan teapots. I'm telling you.
You had the lanterns too, didn't you?
I did. It was it was fun. I had fun with it. And then I had kind of a cottagey phase. And then, and it was just kind of fun. I mean, I was kind of all over the map. But so you might say I was kind of trying to find my style. And you know what? You wouldn't be wrong. I think I was trying to find my style and I was having fun. So I'm not sorry I did all that because I was kind of testing. You know what it was? It was like trying clothes on.
Yeah.
I was trying out different clothes and it was fun. All those were fun phases, and the cottagey one, that was fun too. But when I got to this kind of my version of country French, I settled in and said, you know what? This is me. This is it. I love this. There's so much about it to love. And I could be happy with this for the long run. And you know what is also okay is to say, I'm going to, change it every 5 years. I mean, you may be someone who can't commit to a particular style. In that case, you might be wanting to change things up all the time.
Right. And maybe that's part of your signature thing, that you're always changing it up a little bit. Because style is about expressing yourself, not channeling someone else. And so when you're actually expressing yourself, it's going to feel good. So whatever that is, you're going to know it. So just rest assured, because you might say to yourself, oh my gosh, well, how do I even know when I've got there? How do I know if I've got the flair? You're going to know it. You're just going to feel it. It's going to feel right. Like Anita said, keeping with the clothing analogy, like putting on that dress that you know looks good on you, or putting on that t-shirt that just feels right in all the places, or those jeans that feel good, no matter whether you're walking or standing or sitting for hours.
Yeah. And I did want to mention too, because sometimes somebody's particular style is a combination of 3, 4, 5 different styles put together, which of course is called eclectic. And that can be done very beautifully. I've seen it done. It definitely can work. Here's the cautionary tale on that, or the cautionary point I wanted to make about it. And that is, the more styles you're mixing together, the more patterns you're putting in the room, you can make it work. But every one of those adds another degree of difficulty. So if you're not feeling super confident in your decorating skills, then I would minimize the different styles that you're using at a particular time, because that's going to make it easier. And then you could mix in some of these other things later on when you're a more confident decorator.
I agree. That term eclectic, I mean, it came around, many, many years ago in decorating, and definitely know when something is truly eclectic. A lot of different decades are represented, often a lot of different colors and stuff. So I would say like there is that eclectic look, which is a combination look, but a look on it to its own, if you get where I'm going. But wouldn't you say that every signature style represents at least 2 or 3 different decorating looks?
Possibly. I hadn't really thought about that much.
Like when it's really your own, right? It's going to have a little twist. Something's gonna be like you are French country, but you also have this Texas thing going on. You got the hide rugs, and you've got a little bit of the rough hewn thing going on, but then you've got all these feminine touches. Me, I've got some farmhouse, but I got this blingy glam thing going on, and now I've just added a few modern pieces. So right now I've got at least 3 different looks / styles, if you will, that make up my signature look.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. And that's part of what you were saying is you're putting your own twist on it. In fact, although people think of me a country French when they think of my style, it's not traditional country French.
No,
I mean, the traditional country
colors
French
are not,
colors
right.
are
Mm-hmm.
very different from what I've done. And I do mix in some other things that are, like you said, decidedly not country French. Like I do love the hide rugs and, a few other things that I like kind of mixing in, and just some, and a few, transitional things mixed in here or there.
Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy-to-reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT.
It's all about kind of finding this balance, putting it all together. And really, I think that's the hard part, is making it all work together. And I'm sure you're going to agree with that, Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the hardest part in so many levels, in the doing and the making it look good. And it may not look really good right away. You might find something and you're like, oh, that I am so drawn to that piece. But now that means this other thing really should go. Like now this other thing that I was sort of tolerating really needs to go, and I need to find something else. So it might take a while. This is not room in a box. You know, you need to do this over a course of time.
That's a good point. Once you figure out what it is, you're probably going to look around your house and go, oh my, a fourth of my house fits my style and 3/4 of it doesn't.
Okay. So this is, this is a good time to slide into talking about, well, how do you do this? Aside from just having the confidence, having the awareness, and then the confidence to do it. Well, I mean, I have a few tips, and Anita might have some other thoughts too on how to actually do this, but that is my confidence is number one. And my number two is go through each room and remove items that really aren't looking like where you want to be.
Yeah,
are
if
not
you can.
looking like your signature look.
Right. If it's your kitchen table and you can't afford a new one, you're going to have to keep it. For a little while.
Even if you just made a list, but if you
definitely make a list. Yeah. And I agree with you. Everything that you can pull out that does not go in the direction you want to go, get it out of your house because it's going to be driving you nuts. And it's better to have a blank spot than to have something in there that just isn't working for you.
Right.
I would just, So don't be afraid of empty spaces in your house, of empty places on your wall. And the other thing is just think of that, time when you were kind of going through that adolescence, going from being a child to being, a grown up. I mean, now I know Kelly did not have the awkward phase, but the rest of us probably did. I know I
thought
did.
You were going to say, and we know Kelly has not yet become a grown up, but okay.
Well, there's that too. But your rooms may do that too. When I was saying went from my Tuscan phase to my kind of Swedish colors, like the blues and the whites and the lavenders, I was going from gold and yellow and red. And there was a time when I was halfway in the transition where my rooms were a mess and they looked terrible because I had gold walls and these, oatmeal linen slip covered furniture. And it just looked weird. But I just had to, grit my teeth and just say, you know what? I've got my braces on now and they're going to come off at some point,
Good point. That's so funny. But it's so true. You can't do it all. And you shouldn't do it all overnight. So yeah. And Anita makes an excellent point. I'm saying get it out of the room, but I'm thinking more of smaller items, accent pieces, decor items. You don't want your family to come home and like they're all sitting on the floor because
I'm
you're
sorry,
like,
it's not my style anymore.
It's not my iconic style. Sorry.
And they're saying my style is sitting at a table to eat, not sitting on the floor.
Exactly. So do that to the extent that you can. And then I would create an inspiration board on Pinterest. Pinterest is such a great tool for all of us and you can keep it secret. Nobody needs to know what you're doing over there. And don't think about specific items. Don't even think about budget. Just look around, type in some search keywords that are kind of in your look and see what comes up and almost make it very visceral. Like I'm thinking those hearing tests. I hate hearing. I know I don't have a hearing problem, but every time you have to take one of those hearing tests, I'm sure they're going to tell me I'm deaf. You have to raise your hand and you hear the little buzzing, right? And so it's kind of like a visceral thing. You hear the buzz and you raise your hand. So if you see something that moves you in pictures, just pin it. Don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just pin it. And then you can always curate the board and delete the ones you decide you don't like. Or maybe you're going to notice, this happens to me. All of a sudden I'm like, well, I think I saw this picture before. And I realized I've pinned it 3 or 4 times already. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously that image is speaking to you. So then you go back after you've got maybe 30, 40 pictures on there. Then you go back and you start to look, okay, I'm seeing a pattern here, whether it be in colors or a certain type of furniture design or just a mood even, and see where you see the commonalities and see where you see the repeats and then hone in on those. Get rid of the rest that don't really speak to you, 100%.
Right. And while you're doing this, I think it'd be nice to make a list of the things that you really love about the room. And these things that is your signature style. Those are the things that you're going for. And I think if you're making a list of things, then you're not so tempted to copy exactly what's in the room. And I know, like for you, Kelly, I think of your signature style, and I know I could not, something very critical to your signature style is white ironstone. So I think
critical.
See, I mean, it's very important.
Very important. It's very critical to me.
And like those iron doors in your kitchen, I think they're just, I think of you every time I see those. I mean, there's just certain things that, I want you to think of as being your style. And then when you see those, you don't have to buy everything that fits your style, but I mean, I know, like for me too, there's just certain things that I'm drawn to, and those are kind of the things that I'm known for. And those are the things that I end up repeating throughout my house in different ways, like antique linens and silverware. And of course, Kelly and I both love these things, and, old dishes. So, and there's so many kinds of dishes. So you can't even just say dishes, but specific kind of dishes that I like. I like the French ones, for example, which have a very specific look. I mean, once you do this list, I think it's going to really help you in defining your style.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great idea. And it's fun. And, even sometimes I love to write things on paper. I'm always, I love the computer and I love Pinterest and all that, but even just get one of those black and white composition books and just jot down your notes.
Oh, get a pretty book.
Get a pretty book. Well, I like those. They're so sort of retro. I do love those.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll get a pretty book and start just writing notes down and lists and things like that. And then after you've done all that, so you've got your board, you've kind of got an umbrella idea of the look that you're really drawn to. Say it's English cottagey sort of look. Okay, just for an example. Okay, that's what you really feel like, this is what I go back to every time. Okay, so get on the internet and start looking around. Type in things like the Cotswolds, English countryside, English manners, whatever things you can think of that would be generally thought of with this look that you like, and look all around and see what the real deal looks like and get some inspiration from there. And whatever it is, maybe it's boho, maybe it's mid-century modern, maybe it's modern farmhouse. There's so much information on the internet and so many beautiful things to look at. Look up Instagram. That's a great search engine. Go on and hit the little magnifying glass and then type in these keywords that might define the style that you're drawn to, and pull up different accounts that also enjoy that. And you'll end up, you'll fall down some giant rabbit hole, but do a little bit a day, and then you can really kind of hone it down as to how that's going to work for you and what you might be looking for when you're going out shopping, or what you might be looking for when you go thrifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen people also just start with one signature piece, one inspiration piece, and then they build the whole room around just one piece. So that's something you can do as well. I think it's easier if you have a particular style in mind, but I don't think there's, I know there's a lot of different designers that have different creative processes that they use. So there's not really, I wouldn't say there's a wrong way to do it.
No.
I mean, we're certainly giving you options if you don't know where to start.
Exactly. Some people who really love to travel, maybe they want to have all the beautiful things that they have gathered from all their travel. So that, that's a very specific look that you would start there. And that could be a really beautiful look. You might have one of these things where it's a very definite starting point for you. But anyway that you get to it, it's very helpful to look and see what else is out there in the general look and / style that you are drawn to help you. And then once you get all of that, that's when you want to then add your own personality to it. So add things that are important to you, add your family, add your travels, add, maybe you are drawn to it. Like Anita is so drawn to the French country, but she was not necessarily drawn to the very traditional French country colors. So she added it in her own palette. So change the colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay to do that. Yeah, take a style and make your own adjustments, and then you're going to make it yours. And that could be with colors or other things. You could be mixing in different things, or maybe you like a lot of bling, or you like a lot of gold, or you like a lot of this particular color or a particular style mixed in. I love Gustavian furniture, so I've mixed that in with my French things as well.
To great effect. So anyway, I hope that really helped and helps. And we really want you to have the confidence to be the decorators we know that you are. You don't need to be copying anybody else, and send us pictures of what you've got going on. If you got your flair going, if you got questions about it, we would love to hear and see. So Anita, what's our IG feature for today?
It's Susan Kaufman from New York City and the Hamptons. And I love what she says in her profile, searching for beauty in all the right places.
Well, I love Susan Kaufman. I've been following her for a long time, and I have to agree. She does have two of the right places for me, too. New York City and the Hamptons, two places that I lived for a long time, and I have a lot of roots and memories, and I love popping over to her feed. It's one of the ones that I will seek out if it doesn't show up for a while when I'm scrolling through. And she spends a lot of time in both places. Such a discerning eye, such a wonderful eye for beauty. And just the way she captures a photo, I think you're all going to love it. And you don't have to love New York, and you don't have to be familiar with New York or the Hamptons to really appreciate it. As Anita said, lots of historic buildings and lots of exteriors. So you can get a lot of inspiration, even for curb appeal, from looking at her feed. So definitely check out Susan Kaufman. We'll have the link in the show notes. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. My crush today is a zinc planter, a very long, narrow zinc planter. Comes in actually a variety of lengths from 12.5 to 28.5, 4 inches high and only 5 inches wide. So I think that this would be a fantastic long centerpiece, great for an outdoor table too. You could put succulents in it. You could put faux succulents in it, like we were talking about on our recent deep dive into faux flowers. You could put moss balls. You could use it on a long table for a barbecue and put like a little section of napkins, a section of utensils, that maybe salt and pepper, or even condiments running down the middle. I just think it was such a useful piece. So I'll add the link to that. And it's zinc, so it's metal, and then it has like a black distressed or a rose gold distressed finish on it.
Ooh, that sounds so pretty.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. It's like, I like how the dough bowl works as that long low.
Yes.
Which is so nice, particularly if people are sitting at the table. And this is akin to that.
Very nice. Well, after our episode on the faux flowers, I've had my eyes out. And I've had a hard time. I thought, so I've been looking at the faux flowers and I've been trying to think, does this look nice? Does this not look nice? I've been having a hard time with this, Kelly, because I haven't really found a lot that I thought looked nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find something I thought was nice, and I wanted to share that with you. This particular one I thought was really lovely, and I'll include a link to it. But I thought, well, first off, you don't see wreaths often made from that particular plant. But secondly, it just looked real.
Oh, good.
And
it's a wreath. It's circular.
It's a wreath, right, for your wall or for your door. But, I think that's part of it too, is when it's the same old plant you see all the time, it just kind of screams fake. But when it's something like this that you don't see in a faux version very often, you just kind of, your eye thinks, oh, that's real. So I think that's helpful. But it was just lovely, kind of fresh and new. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We had so much fun, as we always do. And I hope this helped you get going on defining your particular personal style. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.